Well, that escalated quickly in this week's episode of Yowamushi Pedal. So, the third day of the Inter-High is looking to be rather difficult because of Machimiya. The new character introduced last week in the last episode that I was talking about that was very creepy, kind of reminded me of Suji just a little bit. Well, we find out more about his personality in this week's episode, and I'm just gonna say right now, he is nasty. Like, dude, what he is doing, he is like a snake. He is literally a snake or a parasite or something like that. I mean, he is manipulating people. He's being a con artist. And the way you see that displayed in this episode, I was like, holy shit. The way Yowamushi Pedal can throw characters at us like this and continue to entertain me and stun me with these different characters is just brilliant. Like, Suji, I mean, he's one character I've never seen ever in a sports anime or manga. And to see how he is was just very unique. But this dude, Machimiya, his personality, I really do not know how to take him at the moment. I mean, he's incredibly smart. And I will give him that. He is a really cool and smart character to what he is doing. For instance, he's manipulating everybody on the third day of the Inter-High to ride as a pack. And pretty much ride as a team to catch up to the frontliners. And for the most part, it makes a lot of sense. And it is really, really smart to do. I mean, if you're on the final day of the Inter-High, pretty much you really shouldn't disagree with his overall plan. I mean, if you disagree, most likely you're just going to be left behind and get crushed, and you're going to lose the Inter-High. That's pretty much what's going to happen if you decide to not join the pack. And here's where the overall psychological warfare comes into when it comes to this episode. The pack plays a massive role as, like, something that could break their enemies up front. For instance, if you're riding with your team like a 4, okay? Like, let's say Sohoku or Hakone Academy. You're riding, you're freaking doing fast, you're doing amazing, okay? All of a sudden, you look behind you, and you see about 30 people behind you in a fucking pack just going extremely fast, then you're gonna probably lose will. Like, you're gonna lose your willpower. You're like, holy shit, there's so many people behind me. And if they do pass you, which they will pass you, because it's proven. It was already showcased in this episode. The more riders you have, the more people that could switch out and go up front in the pack and switch back out and rest. You can keep going and you will be excellent. You'll be fast. You'll have like 100% capacity when it comes to power. And the thing is that this works against teams of 4 or even teams of 8 that we get to see Hakone and Sohoku do in this episode. Because this team will eventually overcome the team of 4 or 8. It will. It's obvious. They will. And that is the scary factor, because once this pack swallows you, you are fucked. You literally are fucked, because you can't get out of the pack. Because once you're in that pack, you can't get out of it, because they're going so damn fast, and if you leave that pack, you're going to get left behind. And so the only true way to continue running in the pack is by staying in the pack. Now, the thing is, I noticed something with this episode. I don't know if everybody noticed or not, but it seems like Hiroshima, Machimiya's actual group, their squad, seems to be resting a lot in the center. I mean, look at Machimiya in this episode. He was mainly in the center of the pack, just resting. We found out the center of the pack has no air, no pressure whatsoever. You could literally just ride like it's a stroll. And the thing is that you saw a majority of his teammates near the back of the pack or in the center of the pack. And this makes me believe that he's kind of manipulating everybody, which is kind of obvious. He's manipulating everybody to get them tired. He's trying to wear everybody down. I mean, he's putting up a good front, saying, like, if we have a tired and injured person, throw them in the middle and let them rest. But there is something that's going to go wrong here. People are going to tire out, eventually. And when people tire out, the numbers will start falling. And as people start falling, they have a greater chance. This is definitely going to lead into something that's going to be negative for the future for the teams that are riding in the pack. Now, one thing I will say, though, the overall essence of Machimiya's skill, like his skill, is vastly different from Suji. Suji, he always wanted to be alone. He believed in his own strength, his own power, and he would manipulate his teammates, but he believed in his own power. But with this dude, it's like he's putting up a front, and he's just manipulating everybody to get to first place. He's not like Suji that was raw strength and power, speed, that could get up front by himself. This dude is probably not the best when it comes to actually riding. He uses his people, like people around him, as like freaking meat shields. That's pretty much what I can see from this episode. And that is what he's doing. He's conserving his strength, and his actual team is conserving their strength until they get close to the front. Because let's think about this, okay? This dude, this team, Hiroshima, rode near the back lines of all 3 days of the Inter-High. For instance, the first day and second day, they rode in the back. They didn't care. But they managed to get up front enough to where they didn't get, eliminated for the third day of Inter-High. The thing is, though, they've rested a lot. They've, not used as much energy as Sohoku, Hakone, or even some of these other teams are riding in the pack. And they are pretty much top speed. They have all their teammates, as we can see. They've been resting like it's fine. And so, clearly, they're in top condition. And what is going to happen when the pack finally catches up to the front where the aces are? Everybody else is going to be extremely tired. The pack is going to be tired. People are going to be getting worn down. You're going to have to where Sohoku and Hakone Academy are going to get worn down. Mitotsuji and his team might even have to join forces with Hakone and Sohoku to actually beat the pack. That is a possibility. And that right there is pretty freaking crazy if you think about it. Imagine Mitotsuji, Sohoku, and Hakone Academy having to work together, all three aces having to work together, and they're running their pack, their three teams, to beat the lead pack, like the pack behind it. That is a possibility. And there's one thing I noticed in this episode that kind of foreshadows something that could possibly happen in this series. I highly doubt it'll happen. It's literally almost close to 0% that would possibly happen. But I felt like it was some form of foreshadowing in this episode, the way they brought it up. When Onoda and Naruto actually brings up the entire bit, like what type of winning condition they want if they win the Inter-High, you see all three of them, holding their hands and they go across the finish line in first place. I thought of something different in that aspect. What if all three aces from Hakone, Sohoku, and Mitotsuji win in first place on the third day? What would happen? Seriously, what would happen? I mean, it has to happen. It's possible. What would honestly happen on the third day of Inter-High if Mitotsuji, Kinjo, and Fukutomi got in first place all at once? What would happen? Or what if it was a four-way tie with the Hiroshima guys, Machimiya? We have to think about that real quick. I mean, what would happen if that really did happen? I feel like the entire bit with the first years holding hands and all that going across the finish line was kind of foreshadowing towards the end. So we'll have to see exactly where that goes. But for the most part, Machimiya, interesting character. I don't hate him. He's nasty. I'll tell you, he's nasty. The way he uses his brain to manipulate everybody, wow. He's not a bad character. He's actually a brilliant character, because we need a character like him to keep this interesting. Since Mitotsuji technically has finally gotten his overall development, we need a new character like this to keep it entertaining and keep us like an antagonist of this race. But like I said, my theories of what's going to happen, Mitotsuji, Kinjo, Fukutomi are all going to have to work together to beat the pack. But that's exactly it. That's exactly what's going to happen. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode of Yowamushi Pedal. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.